Here we go.
Good morning. Oh, well, I'm very sorry, but you're going to have to look at me from now on in the dark, or a lot darker than it used to be, because I had a terrible experience down here the last time I tried to make a video. I think it was really his fault. Most things are, but he had,
Wait.
he had the light over here, he had turned it, and it was going into this eye, and he also turned those down. They were going right into my eye. And I thought it seemed awfully bright. Well, the next thing I knew, I went blind in this eye for, what, 2 minutes? How long was it?
It seemed like
And I was
forever. Like
forever.
3 or 4 hours before you.
Ah! Well, let me tell you, I was, because you're worried about your eyesight anyway when you're my age, because your eyes are aging. And so 2 minutes without sight in this eye, and finally we turned everything off, and gradually it come back. And I said, no more light. You're going to have to view me in the dark now. I'm in the dark, and that's where I'm going to stay. And yesterday I wore my Ray-Bans
I cannot.
faithfully out in the brilliant sun.
You have been in the dark for 50 years. What is the big deal all of a sudden?
Because I have so many things going on that affect, and so I had been reading my sister's memoir. She sent me it in the mail, and I hadn't read it for a long time. When she first was writing it, I went through it a couple of times and tried to edit it, correct mistakes. Oh, the darn phone, and
You know who that is, don't you?
I have no idea.
It's your sister on the phone. She watches this constantly.
But
We are under surveillance. That's how bad it is.
please,
The FBI showed up
Leave
the
a
other
message
day.
after the tone.
Yeah.
oh,
I guess she doesn't
they're
want
not
to.
talking. Anyway, after having this terrible experience going blind in one eye, and then
I have it all the time.
and then I was reading my sister's book. Well, I hadn't seen it for a long time, and I was going to read the very last version, and I read it, and well, see, all 5 of us sisters were writing at one time, and we would get in terrible fights about what we said about the other one in our novel or whatever, play or whatever we were writing.
What?
And
I never heard of anything like that.
well, if 5 sisters are writing, they have mutual experiences and their
Are you
version.
sure
and
that, is this
so let me tell you, I
Is
happened
this
on
cursory or is this printing?
a account of when I was driving my sister and Charles Bukowski. This is the book about Charles Bukowski, and my son and my
hero.
little baby Dan home from a party on the LA freeway.
There's a lot of LA freeway.
And
Trust me.
trust me, it was one of the busiest. It was going to Long Beach from
what was the Long Beach freeway?
from Burbank.
I used to live in
And,
that area.
On the way down, I had my son 19 drive. Well, he pulled out and a big truck went, whoa, I thought, oh my gosh. And he wasn't, but by the time the party was over, everyone except me and baby Dan had taken something into their system that I said, nobody's driving this vehicle but me. I'm the only one that hadn't taken anything. So I was driving the freeway. My son Raymond, who's 19, was sitting beside me holding baby Dan. And all of a sudden, after we were about halfway there, Bukowski kind of wanted to create a little excitement. He was bored.
Was he
driving home from on the LA freeway wasn't exciting enough
Was he
for him.
sitting next to you or on your
No,
lap?
he was sitting with Linda in the back.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I thought
so
maybe he was
I
sitting
guess
on
he
the
winked
roof or
at
something.
Linda and said, "Watch this."
Oh, no.
Then he reached up and pulled my son Raymond's hair. And of course Raymond was shocked, ready, and he turned around and so anyway, and here I was
Well,
driving, and my sister wrote about
I'm
this.
pulling my own hair, folks.
Well, guess who turned out to be the dud in her version, according to me? Me, because I was screamed at them. I screamed, and
we all
I said,
screamed. for
"Stop
us.
it! Shut up! Where are we?" And somehow during the melee where Raymond wanted me to stop, and he was going to fight Bukowski or something like that. I don't even remember all the details. I said, "No, I'm not stopping on the on the LA freeway," and I was driving like this, and next thing I knew, I had driven right off the LA freeway and was off to hell and gone somewhere out there.
We
And I said, "Look what you made me do. I don't know where I am. Look where I am."
Were you in Watts at the time? Do you remember?
And then my sister said that I got in a panic, and I screamed, and let's see what else. And I took great offense to this. For the God's sake, I was the one who was acting like an old, and she'd had a few.
Wait a minute.
I was just acting like-
Wait a second.
It was-
You were acting like an old, and then all of a sudden
An
everything
old-
went blind.
A very old lady,
No, that's not the word I would use.
or an old mom
no,
disapproving of
that's-
all of
that's
those
still
guys
not
and wouldn't
close
let
there.
Linda even drive her own car. I said, "No, you're not fit to drive this." She had it wasn't even a car, it was a thing. It was a thing. And I said, "You're not, I'm the only one that's sober enough, I'm driving this car." And I didn't think I screamed at anybody, and I didn't think I was
That's
obnoxious. I just quietly said, "I am going to drive this car." And
Yes,
you-
but did you?
And then Raymond said, "Stop the car, Mom, I'll fight him." And then I said, "No." And so I somehow got back on the freeway again after I was wandering around forever. And then Raymond said, "Mom, I'm hungry, should you stop to McDonald's?" And I said, "No, I am not stopping to McDonald's. I am not stopping anywhere till we get home." Well, imagine me
You
reading
turned down the clown for that?
me, and then my next thing I heard Bukowski back there saying, "You whore." I just ignored that. They exchanged a few remarks like whore, and
Wait a minute,
So,
was he talking to
he was
you?
talking to Linda. And imagine
Wasn't
reading
talking to
this
Raymond, was he? Was he talking
in
to
my
Raymond?
sister's memoir about this, and reading that I was the silly old lady that got in a panic
You still haven't got that right so far.
and screamed and just carried on.
Stick around later, folks. I'll give you a few more clues about what the hell's
Could
going
you-
on.
And can you imagine my upset? I mean, I was upset.
No, I wasn't
thought,
upset. I wasn't
What?
even there.
What? And then it was done very subtly, She said, my sister screamed, and
Your whole
she said-
family screamed.
she got into a panic.
Your whole family screamed.
Well, yes, I was in slight upset with my babe in arms and all this going on around me. Now, I ask you, but wait a minute. I'm writing my own memoir, and I'm covering when my sister had a nervous breakdown, and I've been shaking in my boots. I thought, if I say the wrong thing telling about this, she's going to be furious, absolutely furious, because I get furious anytime anybody writes about my breakdown. And she wrote about my breakdown in there, said something how I didn't talk for a year. I couldn't possibly not talk for a year. And in fact, my mother claimed that she had to teach my son.
I have never seen you get past 3 minutes.
Can you imagine me not talking for a year?
Remember that time several years ago, and they put that duct tape over your mouth right on camera, and I said, "We're going
You
to shut
can
her off."
see
for a
that
while."
I really had one
3
hellacious
minutes.
nervous breakdown because they got the impression that I was not even talking at all. And my mother claimed that she had to teach my oldest son how to talk. And
Well, that would account for his vulgar
but he doesn't talk at all now.
vocabulary.
I think I
All in
permanently
4-letter words. You know.
scarred him because he grew up and his dad didn't talk hardly at all either. So here I was in my non-talking, my family claims that I never spoke a word for a whole year. And that would be spooky, absolutely spooky. Wouldn't that be spooky for me? Not to be taught.
Not
I
for
didn't
me.
talk.
I've
Yes,
seen
I
you
wanted
in
to prove to
action
them
for
that
eight
I wanted to
years
get
of
complete
nothing
control of
supposed to be.
myself because I'd always been told I talked too much. So I shut up and I just would say a few precious words here and there. And boy, they were like it got their attention, believe me.
Eat.
Like my chattering never had before. But when I stopped talking, oh my God, and finally, two of my sisters, Linda and Ann, tackled me and they just had me down on the floor and they said, talk, you have to talk. I thought, I'm talking. And besides, I was not well. I didn't have the strength to talk very much. And I did startle some people. I went to see one woman and she wasn't very talkative. So she stopped talking, and I was inclined not to talk. She and I sat there for 20 minutes.
I have a tendency.
Without saying a
I
word.
have a tendency to.
She'll
doubt
never forget
right
that.
there.
Never forget that chat we had.
Doubt that one.
Silence.
Yes.
So I
The
just get furious
next video-
if any of my family
the next video-
misinterprets my nervous breakdown and says things about it that just weren't true.
The next video we're going to do is
Misinterprets exactly
You're
what I
going to
was
sit
saying
there
and
for
doing.
15 minutes, and I'm just going to talk at you, and you're not going to say a word.
No, I
And I'm just going to ask you questions, and you can go. And then you can make hand gestures
Oh,
if
how
you want
boring,
to. You
how
know,
boring.
like,
You'll never get
eh.
that. Well, I started talking
I'd
again. I
like to
never
see
stopped,
if it
but-
would work. I don't
This
think
is
I get
what
past 2
happened.
minutes.
When women, sisters or writers, they just get curious.
Well, who
You
cares
said
if
that
you-
about me.
No.
I did not do that.
Nobody in your family's
You
ever
said
been a
this,
writer.
And I don't blame us. I mean, I was furious at my sister, and I could hardly even sleep. Think she said that I screamed, I got in a panic. I said, who wouldn't? And not a word about how badly they were behaving.
Well,
Absolutely.
let's just say this. I'm glad you're not screaming or hollering. If you consider this normal, the other
Oh
one was.
my gosh. But is
remember
it
when
time?
you-
Is it time? I told
Do you
him.
remember when you
Hey, are
shattered
you
the
keeping
window?
track of the time? So I'm going to call this, I went blind for 2 minutes in my left eye. And believe me, this was a good taste of what blindness is all about, because you're always afraid you're going to go blind. My aunt went blind, this person went, my sister was going blind. You inherit this sort of thing. And I'm 83, and when I went a little bit blind there in that one eye, I thought, oh my word. And I'm supposed to be correcting my memoir. I had to take some time off. I had to let my eye recover.
And it's all my fault.
And please, I read too much. And I need to stop reading. I need to start talking to people more.
Yeah, but try not to
I need
spit
to.
it.
I'm so sure. Hey, is it time?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I
For
don't
God's
know.
sake, he's lost all track of time. Oh, I think we're just going to end it right now. But I just want to know you, I'm still alive. Still.
And I do not have a handgun in here.
Ah!